5 ways to help reduce crime. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Now, a year ago, the Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, gave a tweet taking advantage of a tragic event for political purposes, really virtue signaling. In my response video to that, I listed 5 ways we could help reduce crime, 5 strategies that I believe he should have done. So I would like to share that now with you, those 5 strategies, because, frankly, I think there's some good ideas that need to get a bit of a wider reach. So now we'll jump back in time to what that previous Florian was talking about. Bye for now.
Okay, let's look at 5 things that a real leader should have done. Okay, number 1, let's start teaching CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design, to school kids, all the way up. Now, CPTED, and don't tell me there's not enough space in the curriculum in Victoria, because we can just fit it in to safe schools, because it's to do with safety. So I'll give you a brief introduction to it. I'll link to this guideline below. Now, as an architect, I'm familiar with CPTED. I've had these exact arguments with students when I was tutoring a few years ago. And I remember this quite particular student, a feminist, who designed a space that was quite dangerous. It was a public space in the middle of a park where someone could get dragged and attacked. It was potential for rape. And I brought that up to her, and she was just shocked that I would even dare mention that. And I'm going, well, no, as a designer, you have a responsibility to the public for the spaces you design to mitigate these potential issues. And I got the standard response that no, just have to educate. And it really was quite naive. It was very naive. So crime prevention through environmental design is a crime prevention strategy which outlines how physical environments can be designed in order to lessen the opportunity for crime. Now, this will encourage children, adults, teenagers to be more aware of their surroundings, even when they're designing spaces, to be aware of it. Not everyone's going to be an architect, but we're all going to be involved in the environment. We're going to be walking around, we're going to be using it. You're going to think twice about these particular things, or you're going to lobby your government for changes to ensure that you have safe communities. Okay, and the cost of implementing this, the guidelines are all done. You could get a couple of grand to hire a few people to write some things. That would show leadership instantly. That could have a long-term lasting impact for a very little cost. Very little. Shit, you could get free handouts. This is achieved by creating environmental and social conditions that maximize risks to offenders, increasing the likelihood of detection, challenge, and apprehension. Okay, maximizing the effort required to commit crimes, increasing the time, energy, and resources required to commit them, minimizing the actual and perceived benefits of the crime, and minimizing excuse-making opportunities. Remove conditions that encourage, facilitate rationalization of inappropriate behavior. So let's have a look at, this has been around for a long time, from the 60s. It's taught at universities. And some examples are just the presence of other people, for example, provides them with an opportunity to prevent a crime, intervene in a crime that has started and to a limited extent, apprehend the criminals, summon help for others, report the crime, and act as a subsequent witness. Just a lot of it is about visual surveillance too, making it, creating spaces, designing in such a way that you're not blocking off areas. And here are some examples that we'll look at. This here to the left is a typical 70s suburban shopping center where, surrounded by a car park space, and you've got the shopping center, and all the activity takes place inside here. So you've got all this space here that's hard to surveil. You've got little dead loading dock corners and those type of things. And that provides a space of risk where people can get dragged off, can get attacked, and get taken advantage of. Over here, you've got a more contemporary design where you have a visual amenity around the block. You've got visual amenity looking in. Surrounding these spaces have improved surveillance. This is on a more macro scale, but it's this thinking that makes people aware of it. Here's an example of bike paths with little surveillance. So look at the houses here. They've just got a fence up here. Sorry for the pictures, they're straight from the publication, so police publications. There's no surveillance there from the street. Here's an example where there's more surveillance from the street, from the park. There's activity there. People can see what is happening. I remember when I was at university under the Riverside Expressway here in Brisbane, first year they were warning us all that there were attacks at the park, the Botanic Gardens in the city. They were warning us that there were unsavory characters there and some girls had been assaulted. They warned all of us about that, to be aware. They didn't go and say, okay, let's educate these dangerous people there that have been arrested when they keep coming back. It's, safety in numbers. That's just an obvious thing. Here, locating an ATM in a main street of coffee shop overlooked by houses. And look at this public toilet design. Look how scary that looks. Would you even want to go for a shit there as a bloke? No chance I wouldn't want to go there. Compared to this one here. I've been doing a lot of Uber driving, and at night, if you're driving an Uber and you just stop somewhere, and you don't want to use the side of the road, or like in Brisbane, there was a guy caught shitting on driveways as a jogger. I'm not kidding. Look it up. That actually happened. But you want to go to safer spaces because, what if you go in there and there's someone shooting up on meth or something and attacks you, or you get attacked? This isn't just a gendered issue in safety in spaces. There's certain paths I won't walk down to get home. I'll make sure I'm visual. I'll walk along the road where there's lights, where there's cars driving by. If I get nabbed, someone can see me. And probably a lot of that's because I've been conditioned by teaching this. So that's number one. First thing you should have announced is, okay, we are implementing this education program here into all Victorian schools for the long-term benefit of such. Very low cost, very low benefit. Sure, you'll piss off some of the Clementine Ford and those idiots, but come on. You've got to show leadership. Howard, he pissed off a whole lot of gun owners when he took away the guns. Now, if you disagree with it or agree with it, that's beside the point. You have to admit that it was a ballsy act of leadership and people respected him for taking that stand. Okay, number 2, extra police patrols. Recently in Victoria, it was all through the media about the fake breathalyzer tests and people going, oh shit, what's happening? It's corruption. Well, no, it's the coppers putting their hand over the breatho machine to meet their quota. They've got a quota. I didn't know this. I thought, okay, they have a special, a happenstance, they can do it if they can, or they'd have like dedicated units that go around and do it. No, they've got a quota. They've got to meet their quota, like a factory worker. And if they don't meet their quota, they'll get in trouble. So if they have a busy shift where they're going out to all these calls, or if they're patrolling, or they're trying to keep areas safe, but they've got to meet their quota for this, there you go. Reduce the quota. So the coppers already can't manage it, and then have extra patrols. This here is a crime map. What if we had, say, here in Melbourne, what if you had designated areas where at night time the police will patrol? So if people wanted to walk home, they were going, okay, we know that here, police are patrolling, extra patrols. Why not? It's not going to be easy, but you can do it, and it's a sign of leadership. Find a way to make it work. Number 3, the third one, I call this the Walk Home Safe app. Okay, we have Launch Victoria. It's one of their innovation hubs. Here at Launch Victoria, we're here to support the startup ecosystem in Victoria. Okay, you've got a mechanism. Put $10,000 on the table. Have a competition. What if you take big data, crime data, and new police patrols that are happening at certain times. Big data that is available from the cities. Then combine it with a mobile app so that, okay, here's an innovation way. What if I'm walking with my app? I'll say, okay, I'm going to walk home to here. Boom, boom, put it in. It tracks me. It knows what I'm not doing. If I'm going off the track, it pings, sends home. There's a panic button. You can press that. It can call the police, bring it to you right there. Look at that. Doesn't cost much. That's innovation. That's showing some bloody leadership and using these types of organizations for something that could have a lasting impact. Wouldn't take much. Be better than your virtual signaling. The problem is you have to be smart to think of these ideas, and I don't think he is. I think he's too stuck in this ideology to even think outside the box. But I think that would be a brilliant long-term solution. And the young people, the younger generation, would eat it up. They'd use it. They'd share it with their friends. Done. Because come on, everyone knows who we are otherwise. And here, not more. I'm not calling it more surveillance. I'm calling it more streaming. Why don't you go, okay, every park throughout Victoria now will be streamed 24 hours a day. There'll be visual surveillance. You'll be able to sign in on your, this is my Periscope. You'll sign in on Periscope and see what's going on. You know, frankly, we're all surveilled anyway. Even our phones record us. But if everyone can see it, does that matter so much? You know, will it reduce crime? Yes, no, maybe. How much do a few cameras cost in strategic places to actually publicly make a statement, publicly make a difference, publicly take action? How much is going to be spent on these other things that you're doing? And number 5, the final thing that I want to share with you is don't ever virtue signal. Don't use this for your own political motives. It's disgusting. It sickens people. You know, every man out there in your electorate will see you as weak and a pathetic mouthpiece. It's like Bill Shorten when he was agreeing with what Julia Gillard said without even hearing it. It's seen as weak. It's seen as the Trudeau effect. Look, you know, crybaby. I typed in Justin Trudeau crying, and look what I got. I got a little collection of photos here. So it's just not classy. It is not classy. It doesn't show leadership, and it doesn't actually. You're ignoring the problem. You're telling people to go about their own, you know, day-to-day things. You're not actually showing any leadership. You're just regurgitating the same rubbish again and again, and you know, you'll be replaced. They'll get someone in that can do it. Hopefully they should. They should. So guys, thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Heise Says. If you like this content, please subscribe, share, like, give me feedback. Tell me if my intro was embarrassing. And I will see you all again next time. Bye.